Hi everyone. We were discussing about interrogation technique. So in relation with interrogation technique, we can say one word or one term called Mirinda Warning or Mirinda Warning card. So what is Mirinda Warning? In US, Mirinda Warning is a type of notification customarily given by police to criminal suspects or in police custody or in a custodial interrogation, advising them of their right to remain silent or their rights. So we all know that human beings have their own rights, and even the prison inmates or victims all have their own rights. Likewise, the suspects who is in the interrogation custody, in the police custody, they also have their right. So that is the right to refuse to answer questions or provide information to law enforcement or other officials. So these rights are often referred to as Mirinda rights. In 1966, in the case of Mirinda versus Arizona, the Supreme Court held that the police must advise a suspect in custody of his constitutional rights before questioning that suspect. So these rights secured by Fifth and Sixth Amendment of the Constitution. So let's see what are the rights of the person who is in custody. So you have the right to remain silent. When the interrogating officer is asking you some question, you can refuse that question and you can remain silent. When you are answering something regarding his question, the person in custody has to think twice or thrice before answering that one, because he has to tell the truth only. He can't change his alter his words after that. So everything what he is telling, it will be recorded. So what you have to do is that you have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to consult with a lawyer and to have the lawyer present during the interrogation. So if you want a lawyer by your side while interrogating, you can ask for lawyer and you can tell the interrogating officer that I need a lawyer. When the lawyer comes only, I will answer my questions. So like that you can ask for the lawyer, and that is also your right. And if you cannot afford a lawyer may be appointed to represent you at no cost to you. So if you want a lawyer, but the thing is that you can't afford him the money and also things. So what you can ask, you can like the lawyer may be appointed to represent you. Like government will appoint you a lawyer. So when that lawyer comes, then you can tell your uh, point of view, or from your side you can tell whatever you want, and any statement you make can will be used as an evidence against you in court. So when you are answering a question, like what the interrogating officer asked, when you are answered already, then everything will be recorded and everything will be carried to the court. So while in court, that will be like that against will be that evidence will be against you. So you must be careful while answering all those questions. So before answering the question, you can use these rights, so that the evidence will be like having an admissibility. And these are the so-called Mirinda rights or Mirinda warnings. So what are your rights? You have the right to remain silent, and if you want to consult a lawyer, you can ask for the lawyer, and when the lawyer comes, then only you can start answering the questions. And during the interrogation time, you can ask him that when my lawyer comes, then only I will talk. Otherwise, I will remain silent only. Then if you can't afford a lawyer may be appointed to represent you at no cost to you. And whatever you are telling will be recorded, and that evidence, that answer, they will carry to court, and in court of law during trial that evidence will be used against you. So what you have to do, you have to think of everything and then only answer the questions of the interrogating officer. So these rights are called as Mirinda rights, or we can say it's a Mirinda warning. So Mirinda warnings are written in a Mirinda warning card, whether it is like PVC, plastic or metal. So like that kind, like that, like a card it will be. So in that every rights of a suspect will be, person in custody will be written. So Mirinda warning card is a card on which Mirinda rights are written for police officers to read to a person being arrested. So if you are arresting a person, you can read this Mirinda warning card. The police officer can read this Mirinda warning card, and before interrogating, the officer should inform all of his rights. Then he can start interrogating. Like he can ask whether you want a lawyer, like that he can ask. If the rule must be like the interrogating officer should inform all the Mirinda rights to the person in custody, then only he can start the interrogation. And the police must administer the Mirinda warnings when a suspect is taken into custody prior to any interrogation. And the suspect can say these words like, I wish to remain silent, I have nothing to say, I do not want to answer any question, I do not want to talk until I have spoken to a lawyer. So when the person is in custody, if he want a lawyer, he can ask the lawyer. So he can directly tell like that, I don't want to talk until I have spoken to a lawyer, or I don't have anything to say, or I don't want to answer this question, I wish to remain silent. So these things and person in custody can say. So it is his right to answer or not. And here it's a picture like person in custody is asking like, where is my lawyer? So the interrogating officer is telling he is on his way. So he is telling like, I'm not answering any question until he arrives. So it is the right of this person in custody to tell like, I'm not answering any question until he arrives. So he can wait for the lawyer. And when you should assert your rights, like the best time to assert your right is immediately after the Mirinda warnings are administered, before you answer any questions. So when in custody, before you start answering the question, that time only you can tell that I need a lawyer and I wish to remain silent until he comes. And even if you started answering in between, if you are like feeling like no, I should not continue, and I can wait him, or I want to remain silent, then also you can remain silent. So you may though assert these rights at any time during police questioning, even if you already have answered some questions or made other statements. So it's your wish to remain silent at any time of interrogation. So as a purpose of such notification, or purpose of this Mirinda warning, is to preserve the admissibility of their statement made during custodial interrogation in later criminal proceedings. So for preserving this admissibility of the statement provided by the suspect or the person in custody, uh, they are giving these rights. Like otherwise everything will be uh, used against this one, and the person may tell untruthful things, or false information they will provide. So if in front of a lawyer, everything is recorded, and the lawyer can't tell anything back in the defense time. So these are the Mirinda warning and Mirinda rights. And this is one metal Mirinda warning card, and in this card all the Mirinda warning, what are the rights, everything will be written. And this card the police officer will read to the person in custody before starting interrogation. So this is the Mirinda warning card. It's a metal Mirinda warning card. And I hope you understood what is Mirinda warning and what is Mirinda warning card. So thank you.